Okay, now that we are done with lesson 4, okay, which we tackled about different types of media, we're going to proceed to the next one, which is the lesson 5, and it is entitled Media and Information Sources. This one is short only, so it will only cover one video, okay, only one part of the video. So this will be all the lesson 5, okay. And we're going to open it now. As what I've said, the same process with lesson 4. You don't need to answer this one, the activating part and the applying part. You only need to answer the assessing part, okay, this one. And of course, you can review whatever it is that you want to review in the acquiring new knowledge no part, okay. So now we're going to go to our discussion. Oh my gosh. I think I was not able to let you see it. So I'm gonna log in again because I was logged out. Okay. So as what I've said, we are done with this one, the different types of media. This one, as what you can see on the screen, the different types of media. Then we are going to go to the different media and information sources. So as what I've said, this will just be pareho sa name. You don't need to answer pareho sa lesson 4. Don't answer activating part, applying part. Just answer this assessing part. Okay, and I will give the deadline up until Sunday. Right? So we're going to continue now. This one, we are going to be focusing on this acquiring new knowledge part. Okay, as we tackled in lesson 4, we tackled about the different types of media. Now we're going to talk about the different types of media and the different sources of media and information, and how do we actually make ourselves better when it comes to the usage, to the utilization of or pag-abot sa paggamit sa media and mga information. Okay, so now we're going to continue with the sources of media and information. I will read first and I'll explain. The kind of information you need leads to the kind of media and information sources you are going to use, right? So when you want to get information, okay, so you try to classify, you try to think first of what media you are going to use, right? For example, you want to get information about news, okay, about the news or about the event that took place, okay, in the USA, because in the US may natabo dito ba, for example nga accident or some kind of terrorist act, for example, then what could be the possible or the best possible media that you could use? Okay, you could actually utilize different media. For example, you listen to news. You listen to news. Okay, so you watch the television, right? So if you watch the television, that is another type of media which we have discussed earlier and it will fall under broadcast media, right? So if you really want to go to, if you want to get information and you want to just read article, okay, because you do not have a newspaper, so you want to go to social media. And social media is another type of media, which is what we call new media. It will fall under new media, right? So if you want to go to social media and you want to utilize Facebook, because in Facebook there are articles that will tell you about what happened in the US or the news in the US. Okay, you can not only use Facebook is not the only media or social media that you could use, but you could use Twitter, right, or any other types of media that you could access over the internet. So ang mga class, depende sa imo ginapangita nga information ang imo media nga gamiton, right? So I hope you got that. For example, pagid ikaw naman mahatag sang information, okay? So for example, you want your information ang gusto mo ipa-share na information is all about colors, right? You want to tackle about the different types of colors or the different colors that that you want your audience to know. So what do you think would be the most effective media na gamiton mo? Do you think you could go to radio? I think you can't go to radio because you cannot show the color that you want your audience to know, right? Or you want other people to know. So the most effective way is filming, right? So you film yourself or you film the presentation that you'd like to share, you film the information that you'd like to share, then you upload it on the internet, then of course, or you send them over, you can send them through Bluetooth, right? And Bluetooth is another type of convergence, right? Or share it. It's another type of convergence because before, we could actually just mag-transfer kita sa mga files and everything. We use flash drive. Then we try to transfer file to another technology or another gadget. But now, magamit mo na gid ang Bluetooth and gadget as a wireless connection for you to transfer file. So that is another type of convergence, right? So combine ang pag-transfer sang file, okay, and ang wireless connection. So in that manner, it is convergence. So class, for example, i-share mo na ang imo nga nag-shoot ka nag-film ka na, nag-record ka na sa imo nga presentation or gin-record mo ng information na gusto mo i-share sa iban. So, pwede mo siya mapasa through Bluetooth, share it, or pwede mo ma-upload sa internet, okay? Basta, hindi mo lang siya class pag i-upload na wala silang may makita nga video. Because ang imo gani content, ang imo type of information na gusto mo i-share is about colors, and it really needs to be seen, okay, or to be watched, okay? So I hope you understand that. Resources may be evaluated depending on the information they could provide and assessing the validity, accuracy, and reliability of the information to avoid misinformation. So this is the greatest problem, I think, when it comes to the use of media, because some people, they do not have enough information by themselves, okay? They are not well informed, okay? Magamba kita well informed. Wala pa sila class na no orient of the information nga kinahanglan nila mabalaan, and then they just share information to others, right? Or they just apply the information to themselves, okay? And in effect, gina-share man nila sa others, sa ibang na tao. So in that manner, class, that is already misinformation, and that is irresponsible use of media. Kaya wala mo pa class na validate, okay? Wala mo pa kumbaga na verify bala class ang imong source, kung ano nga sabihin ang information mo halin, masaligan ayan ang information nga ginkuhaan mo. For example, naglantaw ikaw sang video, and then the video is all about taking care of your skin. Then, wala mo na verify class, wala mo na lantaw, for example, ang reviews, if it is really good, kung reliable or ma-trust mo ang nag-ubra sang video. So in that manner, class, because wala mo gin-verify, nagpati-pati ka lang dayon right away, right after you watch the video, gin-apply mo man sa self mo on how to take care of your skin or how to take care of yourself, for example. So gin-apply mo sa galit class ang mga information na ginambal dito sa video. Then, it's too late. Kina-apply mo na. Okay? So, kasi naapektuhan na yung mga physical attributes, naapektuhan na yung mga physical body, nagkalain na yung guya or whatsoever in that manner. So, because of it, okay, it just clearly shows that there is a misinformation. Right? So, ang mga class, misinformation can be applicable to any other types of situation na makita mo. Okay? Or mabatsagan or ma-experience mo. Next, as discussed in the previous module, okay, information can be taken from different types of media, it includes print media, okay, so pwede ka kakuha sa mga magazine, sa mga newspaper, sa internet or online, sa radio, sa television, and even video games, right? So you share information in video games. Now, let us take a look at the library and indigenous media in addition to resources we can utilize for sourcing information. Now we're going to learn about the different types of information or the different sources of information that we can actually utilize for us to have a well-informed or accurate or reliable mga information. Okay? Because that's the essence of this subject. You need to be acquainted or you need to be oriented with the things that you need to learn about how you properly manage information. Indigenous knowledge. Okay, so we're going to discuss first indigenous knowledge. It is a specific and unique kind of information from a given culture or society. So as long as there is what we call incorporation of culture, malakas, may culture dira nga makita sa definition ngayon na, it will fall under indigenous knowledge. Okay? So ang mga knowledge, kuno mga information nga unique or dira lang makita sa isa ka culture, sa isa ka society, that is what we call indigenous knowledge. So this knowledge is not written, but rather transmitted either through people's media or indigenous media. Examples of indigenous knowledge are those oral traditions being passed on from generation to generation. Example, ang mga pamahiin, kasabihan. So those are examples of indigenous knowledge, okay? Or mga information malakas nga unique lang within a given culture or within a given society. So muna, for example, gaano ikaw? Mga pamahiin, mga kasabihan, okay? Mga oral tradition is an example of indigenous knowledge. Exchanging information is face-to-face interaction, but the transfer is limited within the borders of the community. So kung ang information dira na ginaklas makita sa community nga ina, then it is usually just transmitted orally or by oral tradition. Hindi ko siya class mabatian nga dogin sulat gid siya, okay? Because it is indigenous knowledge. So basically, dumabatian mo lang siya or dumabalaan mo lang siya through oral nga pag-present. Okay? Next, we're going to talk about indigenous media. Indigenous media, or also known as community media, is any form of media created or controlled by the community. So when we talk about indigenous media, it is a kind of a media class that directly talk about the media or community media. All a form of media or any form of media nga present is controlled and is created by the community. However, this form of media is different from commercial. Okay, tandaan nyo na ha? State-run media and public broadcasting. The danger of indigenous media is that information is only stored into memory, thus has a greater chance of being forgotten if the chain of passing on is cut. Like what we have told about oral tradition earlier, okay? Bago lang. When we talk about indigenous or oral tradition, is a kind of an indigenous knowledge and it is being passed on by orally lang. So, when you pass it to others or when you pass the information to others, this is now called indigenous media. And now that is the danger there. Because once indigenous media or once the tradition or indigenous media is cut, okay, or madula na siya, it can never be restored. Because the passing on, inabalaklas, di ba, mga oral tradition, sometimes or most of the time, it is only passed on from generation to generation orally. Okay? So if it is cut, na wala na may share na orally, then it is now it will not come back at all, or basi may chance pa man nga ma-restore. However, it basi hindi na siya maging relevant gid katama. That is why important that is the danger of indigenous media. Next, according to freedictionary.com, it defines the library. Now let's go to library. Library as a building or room containing collections of books, periodicals, and sometimes films and recorded music for people to read, borrow, or refer to. It's self-explanatory, right? So when we talk about library, this is where you make transactions of borrowing books, reading books, right? Libraries come to existence because of the birth of the printing press. Now, this is another type of media na naman. Okay? From printing press na bunga ang library. Information seekers can very much guarantee quality and sufficient supplies of sources inside the library, for it contains books, encyclopedias, magazines, and other reading materials for ease of access. That's why you're always reminded, class, now when you try to get your sources coming from a book, it is much more reliable because it is already verified bala class. It can never be published kung wala pa siya na-verify, wala siya na counter-check sa ibang nga author. Okay? So, dali lang, kinatabunan ko siya gali. So, there. That's it. Kung wala siya bala class na-verify, dali ko na ng word. Wait lang. Kung wala siya na-verify sa ibang nga tao or sa ibang nga expert, that's why it is do medyo ano sa class, tawag din. Lalaki na kayo ang camera para hindi siya matabunan dira ang atong gina-discuss. Okay? So, there. Amo na. Sometimes, iba gina-remind ko mo always ng library dyan, most reliable source, ang mga books sa library could be the most reliable source of information because it has been verified, it was checked already by a lot of people before it was published and before it will be put there inside the library. So, unlike when you go to the online, unlike when you go to internet, okay, there are a lot of things that you makita mo nga daw unverified, nga daw hindi reliable, pareho na lang na sa Wikipedia, right? We're fond of knowing about Wikipedia, but we do not know gali nga Wikipedia, okay, is a type of, is a source of information nga hindi siya class reliable. Nga hindi sa reliable ang Wikipedia. Some of it could be reliable. However, Wikipedia can be edited by anyone else. It can be edited even by you, right? So, kung ma-edit mo sa class, and then, for example, butang-butangan lang sa information sa ma-edit na, and maka-edit na is below nga kalibutan, okay? So, what do you expect? It could actually be edited na to be given or to be input, to have an input like misinformation, right? Asa lang information ang inbutang sa Wikipedia. So, what do you expect? Would it still be reliable or not? So, it won't. So, as much as possible, avoid ka mo class mag-use ng Wikipedia for your sources of information. Now, let's move on to the next one. Since materials are well organized, the library provides quality services such as the traditional and electronic card catalogs to easily locate the reading material you intend to use. Yes, for example, may ara kita sa library natin, dali sa dyan, nga doon click mo lang, then you just search over the internet or you just search kung ano nga libro ang kinahanglan mo, and then it will show kung arag paginmandara ang libro nga ina, right? And then, may ara naman traditional catalogs, mga sanguna na walang class, inabalang may mga cards mga ginabutang, okay? And then, dira mo ginabutang imong ngalan, ang amo nang ginahula mo. However, because of technology, doon nag-evolve na kita, and then we have this technology na ginagamit, kung i-type mo ang author, nga i-type mo ang ngalan sang libro, or even ang keyword lang sang libro, pwede ka makakita sang libro na nga pangitaon mo lang dira sa library. Especially kung tako-tako ginang library. Then, pwede mo na dagani nga i-swipe lang imong ID, then you can log in na sa library. Before, ginasulat pagid kung sino ang nagbisita sa library, ano yung pangitaon, and everything. Next, internet and databases are also available in libraries nowadays to provide library users a plethora of sources around the globe. Right? So, as what you can see, libraries are installed with internet connection nga pwede ka mo maka-research bala class, for example. However, iba ng mga libraries, especially sa mga school library, gina-limit lang nila class kung ano nga mga website ang pwede mo makaduan, right? So, pwede ka kakado sa Google, pero do Google ang magamit mo, you can never access mga porn sites, right? May mga sensitive nga mga video or sensitive nga mga content nga mga sites, so hindi ka mo dira pwede kakado. And, ginagamit pag class, and that's not the point, man, Gidya, of the internet in the library. The point there is, it can help you to research pagid, okay, or to find any other sources pagid on the internet based sa libro mo, abi nga nauyaktan, okay, or kung hindi ka kakita sa libro, dira, you can go to the library, or pangita ka sa information nga wala mo nakita dira sa library. Okay? There are 4 types of libraries. Okay? Sorry na, my favorite part. Because I think I have this thing for library class nga do kanami gito sa feeling ko ara ko sa library because like you are in your own world lang. So I hope I hope may nakarelate na sa akin if that's the case. There are 4 types of libraries: public, academic, school, and special. Okay? Now, let's discuss each one, okay, para at least mabalaan natin. First, public libraries are funded by the government and provide all services to all sections of the community. These libraries aim to educate, inform, elevate culture, and provide leisure. So, magkamba kita public libraries class. Doon muna class ang may ara kita na sa Iloilo, pero I think daw dira dapit sa may Capitol. Okay? Pangitaan nyo lang. Basta may library kita or dito dapat sa may West Visayas, may ara kita public libraries kung sa diin anyone ang ara sa community naton or anyone else nga magbisita sa aton nga lugar for example sa Iloilo, maka-access sa library nga ina. Kaya may mga ginabutang dira nga books nga for example mga tawo or mga Ilonggo or mga tawo nga dira sa community lang ina or mga author nga naka-develop sang libro, naka-create sang libro, naka-publish, and then their books could not be accessed anywhere else, pero dira lang sa public library nga ina. So that is why, kung may mga researchers nga mga gusto nila mag-study, for example, sa amo na nga topic na ginsulat sang author or gin-author sang tumandok sang amo na nga lugar, kadira ayan ang ginbutang sa public library. So, ang iban nga tao nga nag-research sang amo na nga topic, makadtugid na sila class sa public library naton and i-access nila ang book nga ina. Okay? So, importante magka sa public libraries. Then, pwede ka kabasa man if you don't have a space, kung wala ka dira sang time magpa-coffee shop or wala ka resources, money, magpa-coffee shop, you can go to public library and it is free. Next, academic libraries are serve the staff, students, and faculty of a tertiary institution. Okay, so ang aton diri nga tertiary nga library, it could be found there sa babaw sa aton nga PSMT building. Okay, its primary purpose is to support teaching, extension, research, and services for the functions of the university. Okay, so basi mambal ka mo nga ang library is only for students. No, it is open for all. Okay, so sa tanan nga, for example, sa school, okay, sa college, sa tertiary or college is just one term. Makadto sila sa library because ma-research sila sa ilang research study, and then magamit sila sa mga sources, pati yung teacher pwede na kakadto, and anyone nga ara sa school. Okay? Next, school libraries are the learning resources center of schools and provide support to the curriculum and teaching development processes. Now, this one mga school library naman yan is do applicable sa ating mga high school, right? Sa ating mga high school mga institution. So, we call it school library. Next, special libraries specialize in a limited area, usually maintained by an organization or agency or association. Ang mga special library class, class ang mga library nga daw special, do mga private libraries bala class, nga daw it caters, they are funded or ginasupport sila sa certain organization or sa certain agency or association, but not directly from the government. Next, the source should be credible and reliable. The credibility of information refers to the reputation of the source. Amo ni class ang mga we need to Remember when we are using the special libraries. Consider the breadth and depth of discussion or when we are citing information galing in class. Okay, ang 1 to 5, 1 to 4. These are how we are able to discriminate or how we are able to find ang mga information gid nga kinahanglan naton, okay, nga which are good and reliable. So dapat the source should be credible and reliable. The credibility of information refers to the reputation of the source. Next, consider the breadth and depth of discussion, the extent of the research done by the source to organize information. Sorry, wala akong nakakita. Is an indication of rigor and judiciousness. Information, the information should be cross-referenced, which means you should compare the information to other sources. Okay, so hindi ka lang maglantaw sa isa ka source lang, pero you need to compare this source to another source, or that source to another source, kaya para at least you will have a lot of resources kung ano yung mga patihan, ano yung sundon, and whatsoever. Ma-compare mo na class. Next, the manner of dealing with the information is legal and ethical. So, importante kung klase nga mga information natin na ginakuha or under legal and ethical nga law, okay, para hindi kita makasuhan sa plagiarism or hindi kita makasuhan sa misuse of information. Next, evaluating information sources. Sourcing out information is difficult if you do not know which source you are to use. When finding the right resource, check if the information suits your needs, then you will know that it is of good quality. So, dapat mangitaon, magidaklas ang good quality ng information, kag dapat it suits what you need, right? Dapat gamatch sa kung ano gid ang kinahanglan mo. The following are aspects you need to consider in measuring information quality. Another set of criteria used to evaluate information is discussed in the teaching guide for MIL by Chen. So, pangitaon nyo lang dito, okay? The following are the key terms. Reliability of information. So, kung paano ka mo mangita information. So, dapat kina-consider mo ang reliability of information. Information is said to be reliable if it can be verified and evaluated. Okay? So, kung na-verify siya, na-evaluate siya, so that is, it has reliability. Others refer to the trustworthiness of the source in evaluating the reliability of the information. For example, nagkadto ka sa website okay, or sa isabi ka article na authored by the government. So, ang munaya class ang reliable because it was authored by the government itself. Hindi maguro magtinikal na, right? So, ang muna class, pangitaon nyo ang reliable din. Accuracy of information. Accuracy refers to the closeness of the report to the actual data. Measurement of accuracy varies depending on the type of information being evaluated. So, class, ganyan ang class, dapat accurate with ang data mo. If it's not very accurate, at least you have estimation. Malapit-lapit class sa actual na data. For example, na class sa mga research studies na balang class, okay? Hindi man na class very accurate with ang data class because, for example, nag-research sila sa effectiveness of online learning in senior high school students, in improving the grammatical structure or the grammatical proficiency of Maritime of grade 12 students. So, hindi man nila class tanan nga grade 12 students na class, matanan gid sa bilog ng Pilipinas or sa bilog ng kalibutan, mahambal nga paano nila na-improve nila nga grammar proficiency through online learning. Okay? So, because gakwa lang na sila class ng sample, di ba? Naka-research ako. Naggakwa lang na sila ng sample population para doon ma-represent lang mala class ang mga grade 12 student. So, amo na class ang gapakita nga it's an accurate information because kung di man siya lapit-lapit gid class, kung hindi man gid siya ang actual ba nga data nga bilogid nga grade 12, at least ang lapit nga data because it is a research class, though may scientific gid siya nga method nga ginsunod, at least nasundan niya class, okay, at least na may ginfollow sa nga system nga kung paano sa class mag-research sang data, paano sa nakakame up sa iyang result and everything. So that is still reliable, right? Okay, it is a research. Forecasts are said to be accurate if the report is similar to the actual data. Okay? So, ang mga forecast. Financial information is considered accurate if the value are correct, properly classified, and presented. Next, value of information. So, dapat take into consideration naman ang value of information. Information is said to be of value if it aids the user in making or of improving decisions. Okay? So, kung ang value sa information nag-change or nag-bulig sa imo, then it might be very useful. Next, okay, ipakita ko na yan sa HAMBURG. HAMBURG, amo ninyo nga groupings. Okay? Atong kaginang, may sala ko dito sa lesson 4. Right? May sala ko sa lesson 4 kagina. May sala ko sa lesson 4 kagina class, hindi nyo lang ito pagsapakon. May ginibutang ako liwat nga code dito sa lesson 4 nga description box. Okay? Dito sa description dito sa video. Ato dito ang code nga ibutang sang per section. So, ibutang nyo ina dito sa comment. Same process gapon, name section, and then the code nga gibutang ko sa lesson 4. Pero diri sa lesson 5 amo gini ang code nga ibutang ninyo. Okay? Nakuha na na? Okay, that is the code of HAMBURG. Next, authority of the source. Much of the information we gather daily does not come from a primary source, but is passed on through secondary sources such as writers, reporters, and the like. Sources with established and experience on the subject matter are considered as having sound authority of the subject. Ang na pa rin na-explain ang authority of the source. For example, ang nagpagwagid sang news is from example CNN. Sa CNN class is the reliable class na source of information. Okay, next, timeliness. Reliability, accuracy, and value of information may vary based on the time it was produced or acquired. Okay? While a piece of information may have been found accurate, reliable, and valuable during the time it was produced, it may become irrelevant already. Sometimes may mga data daan class nga gina-produce pala class on a specific time. Okay? So kung mangita sang data nga na, and nalapawan na sa balaklas ang timeliness ya class, okay, do hindi na siya applicable. Okay? For example, ang mga ang cases of COVID-19, okay? Kung naglantaw kaya class ang time ya class by only by August, okay? So hindi mo ya class makita gid ya class ang ginatawag nga a timeliness of the data because of the information gali. For example, data or information, the same lang na sila. Of information, hindi mo makita na because August man din lang taon mo. Okay? Basi hindi na applicable ang cases ng COVID-19 sa August sa cases ng COVID-19 subong nga October or September. Okay? So, muna class. Now, I will give you the the authority to access this video. Kung para ang video nga ini. Okay? So you just play it there sa inyo mga cellphone, hindi ko na diri pag-ibutang. Okay? Okay, it will directly man sa my YouTube. Okay? Sa YouTube na siya gyapon makita. Okay, so kamo na lang nadira class lang taw and before anay nakon ipakita ang video nga ini. Okay, ipakita ko anay ang
But today, we find ourselves bombarded with an overwhelming amount of it from a multitude of sources. Information is as abundant as the world is vast. It comes in a variety of
Okay. So you know the drill, everybody, you know the drill, right? And this is for the section FELIXTOWE. You know the drill, so follow all the instructions that I am saying. Kaya para at least aware ka mo. So, comment down. So, I think we are done already with this one. Okay? We are done with our lesson. So I hope that you learned something out of the discussions that we have. Okay? Amo ni sa class, tapos nakita dire sa aton nga lesson 5. Alright, so we're done with lesson 5. Now, I will open the assessment part, and as what I've said, you need to do this assess part sang lesson 4 kag lesson 5 sa dapat matapos before mag-Sunday or sa Sunday, i-close ko na siya by 11:59 p.m. sa gabi. Okay? So, pero kung gusto niyo mag-answer, subong i-open ko na siya at least para maka-answer na kamo. Hindi na ako magdugang sa obra niyo. Alright? So, I think we are done already with lesson 4 and lesson 5. I hope that you really learned something and I hope that you will follow all the instructions. Okay? As what I've said, in lesson 4 and lesson 5, do not answer the activate and the apply part for both of this lesson. Hindi na pag-answeran. And then, ano lang ang answeran nyo or ano lang ubrahon nyo? Ang lesson 4 na assess na part and lesson 5 na assess na part. Then, of course, may mga kinahanglan pa kamo diri na sa YouTube, balaan nyo na, you know the drill. So, I hope you will do it. Okay, class? So, I hope ang ibang di sa inyo wala nag-comment sa last ng mga video. So, I hope nga lang tawon nyo mangyapon ng mga last ng mga video kung maging pangpasa. And then, you comment down. Pasugtan ko na gyapon, you comment down. Okay, para at least, makahabol pa kamo. Saan ko i-close ang comment? Saan ko i-turn off ang comment section sa YouTube? I-turn off ko na sa class. Sa tanan ko nga lesson nga gin-upload sa YouTube. I-turn off ko na sa by Sunday, 11:59 p.m. So, after sa Sunday, 11:59 p.m., hindi na kamo pwede maka-access ang tanan nga lesson nga natapos na kag hindi man kamo pwede na maka-access sang tanan nga mga hindi na kamo pwede maka-comment pagid sa tanan nga videos nga gin-upload ko sa YouTube pero pwede nyo pa sa malantaw. Amo na nagaling, wala na kamo grade. Okay? So, bye-bye class. I hope you really learned something.